I am sure sports. You know me there. I'm coast to coast representing. I mean, say this is righteous representing for Omar. You don't know, come get the sports over here from near and far. Boy, 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 boy. Me say I am sure sports, one thing me sure about. When me say sure, that me not doubt. Come get your sports, get it over here. Come subscribe, repost and share. I am sure sports, one thing me sure about. When me say sure, that me not doubt. Come get your sports, get it over here. Come subscribe, repost and share. If me not sure, that me not say it. Know who score, that me not say it. Never know no game play, that me not say it. If me never see no game, me no know who play. For your sports news, better come over here so. For your soccer news, then come over here so. If you don't love sports, still come over here so. For the day done, you a go love over here so.
So when it comes on to behavior concerning football, Jamaica is decent. I am sure that if we can get all of these things done, set in place by the end of April, it gives us enough time before the World Cup campaign. Not afraid of no Brazil, no Argentina with these crap of players. We are good enough. Remember, like, subscribe, share. Listen, comment, let me know what your thoughts are.
Jamaican herbs and spices add delicious, bold flavor to your next grilling experience. Flavoring sauce, a marinade, basting, condiment, or topping. Trick Nick Jerk Barbecue Sauce.
Jerk Marinade gives your meats and vegetables authentic Jamaican jerk flavor. The spices are directly from Jamaica. Spices like jerk seasoning, allspice, Scotch bonnet pepper, fresh scallions, thyme, ginger, and garlic. The key ingredients to a great jerk marinade. 0% sugar and low in sodium. You want to try it?
All right, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you're watching from. This is Management representing for I Am Sure Sports. And we have some news that we would like to share with you concerning the Reggae Boyz. As you know, they'll be playing a game against Peru in January. This is a warm-up game in preparation for the World Cup qualifiers against Mexico on the 27th of January in the National Stadium. And, you know, there's an interim coach in Paul Hall who has replaced Coach Theodore Tapper Whitmore. And so this friendly against Peru is being used to prepare both teams for their upcoming World Cup games. But it is very important for Jamaica because it is giving Coach Hall an opportunity to look at some players, what we call the fringe players who could be, you know, up for the running for the 27th World Cup friendlies. As you know, the European season is ongoing, so most of the players who ply their trade in Europe will not be available. Therefore, you'll have to use players in the Americas because those competitions are on break. That is MLS players and USL players and players who play in the local JPL. And so there are some players that are up for consideration, or they are going to be or should be a part of it. I'm going to give you some of those names that I believe, based on our birds, that they will be a part of this squad. I don't know if there'll be some training to select the final group, but in the initial stages, we know that a few players, I'm very happy for them because they had good seasons in the JPL that was just completed. One was also playing over there in Canada. He's back out here in Jamaica right now because that league is on a break. And for a while, he has been out of the national setup. His last game was, I think, a game against the Cayman Islands, and he was the star. And he has not been called back since, but he's back now. He's the Cavaliers player, the former Cavaliers player who was over there in Canada. His name is Alex Marshall. Yes, Alex Marshall is going to be back in the fold for this friendly against Peru. And he will see the likes of Jaden White, also of Cavaliers, and Jamoy Topi, who was called up for a couple of the games by Coach Theodore Tapper Whitmore. So he has been in the squad, though he has not seen any playing time. And he also had a very good season coming back after a long layoff. He came back to the JPL last season and uh, thought he wasn't in the best of condition physically. He was called up at that time, so it's good to see and to know that he could be called up for this game. All right, that's Jamai Topi, and that is also Alex Marshall. We understand as well that Dwayne Busy Atkinson could be called up for this game, which would be very good. I think he's one of the standout players from the JPL last season. We understand as well that he went away to Spain on a trial, but there was some misunderstanding as it was thought that the club that he was going on the trial was a club in La Liga's uh, third tier. However, upon his arrival, it was understood that the team is in the fourth tier and in a relegation battle. And they thought it would be best for him to come back to Jamaica to look at the other opportunities available to him. And he will be a part of this setup. Hope he goes there and proves himself to be the quality player that he is and cement a place hopefully in the national setup. We also understand that Jordan Fletcher, the Mount Pleasant player, I think he's at the Bethlehem Steel now on a trial. He should be going there, but he is owned by Mount Pleasant. He's also called up. He scored 7 goals in the JPL last season. As you know, it was an abbreviated season, but he was very instrumental in Mount Pleasant's run in the competition. He joins another Mount Pleasant player, the just turned 18 Devontae Campbell, who recently signed his first professional contract with Mount Pleasant. The speedy winger, very crafty, played excellent in the JPL, was a surprise to many teams. He was hard to handle, and he gets a call up as well. Also, getting a call up. Well, will be back in the squad is Javon Watson. Yes, Javon Watson will be in the squad. I suppose if you're calling all of these new players, it would be good to see the physical conditioning of Javon Watson, especially seeing that most of the players in Europe will not be available. So he gets an opportunity to prove to Coach Hall if he's ready for the battle, ready for the fight, ready for what lays ahead in terms of Paul Hall's program. So we are happy, especially for these JPL players, because as you know, um, there are many persons who don't have high regard for the local league. But when the players get the opportunity, the standout get the opportunity, we are happy for that. And if they apply themselves properly, maybe Mr. Hall will see something in them, Coach Hall will see something in them and have them as part of his setup going ahead. Akwasa Chang of Harborview spoke to persons out there who told me, and this is good. Some of the clubs, I'm very delighted that I can call some of these clubs and get information, which is part of the way to really, um, professionalize the football. Is that you should be able to call the clubs and find out what is happening. Has any player been contacted? And you get the information. Some clubs it's like pulling teeth because I guess their communication mechanisms are not as uh, efficient and effective as some clubs. And so we have been making our calls and getting our information, and I'm so happy for Akwasa Chang. He started the last season on fire. I mean, he was scoring goal after goal after goal after goal after goal after goal. I mean, but I think he got figured out at the back end of the season, and many clubs kind of uh, double teamed him, and he wasn't able to be as elusive as he was at the start of the competition. Thus, he went through a little drought. And again, I'm glad that he's been given this call up. He's an ex 18, 19-year-old somewhere about there, and I'm happy for that. I also think um, that this youngster, though I don't believe that he should have gone back to play in schoolboy football, but I think he needs to be given a look at. His name is Tariq Zeminis. He's a player that I've always been very fond of in terms of his ability to play, and I'd love to see him get a call up. Call up. No, he got a couple of cards last season, and that may, I don't know, affect his opportunity. But I do hope that he gets a call up as well. And Harborview, they were in the finals, and they have a couple of quality players. They have the Camperdown, um, former Camperdown centre forward who scored a lot of goals for them. He is a good player that I think he could get a look in. And Howell, that plays in their holding midfield position, I think he as well could get a look in. And there's Pennycook from Tivoli Gardens. And these are just names that I am calling. The others, I know that there has been, they're part of the provisional squad, but with Pennycook and Howell, these are just names I think based on their performance in the last JPL. If there are slots there and they want to look at some persons, these are players that they could look at. I mean, and so that's it. I mean, just a very short video. So Devontae Campbell, Jordan Fletcher, both from Mount Pleasant. Jamoy Topi, Jadine White, Alex Marshall, and Dwayne Busy Atkinson from Cavaliers, Aquasa Chang from Harborview. These are some of the players that we understand will make up the provisional squad for the Jamaica versus Peru friendly in Lima, Peru in January of 2022. I want to thank you for watching us. Please hit the like button. If you have not yet subscribed to the channel, please go ahead and subscribe. Also, share the content so others can know. Man is man, and you enjoy the rest of your day, and please stay safe.